Guys, welcome back to the 26th episode of the Two Brits, One Yank podcast.
Yeah, we've just done 25.
I put you on the spot there, didn't I? You thought I was going to go for longer.
Yeah, I was really hoping you would, to be honest. It was like an awkward silence, and I was like, yep.
Basically, all we've done is he's changed into his Irish top, and I've put on my turquoise jumper.
Had all the dogs come back.
Yeah, since the last episode, Auntie Debs has come back. The dogs are running wild. Auntie Debs actually has a doggy daycare business. Actually, that's some... I just plugged that.
Yeah, hey, what's it? I don't know.
No, it's just called. Debbie's Doggy Daycare. It's on Instagram. If you're local to the area and you're looking for your dog to be looked after while you go on holidays, this is the spot. It's actually annoying because there's just dogs running everywhere.
There's some cute ones here today, though.
She loves it. The kids love it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's that's the intro, man. But no, but we forgot to say they've been running wild. So Auntie Debs has taken them in. She's making sure they're not barking. So if you do hear any barks, it's all kicking off. But yeah, man, that's the start. That's the intro. Like, not really much to talk about. Souls hasn't reappeared
in the last hour.
In the last hour. So you're not going to get him for this episode. But
it's funny. It's funny when you do these pods back to back because I feel like, oh, we've just done the intro already. Like, let's just go into the next topic.
Like, what else is there?
But then you have to remember that, like, it's going to be a week from now. Yeah. Could even be longer. Who knows? We might have something in between.
Yeah.
Like...
You know what we need to do, actually, is a little vlog. A little in the day in the life vlog or something. I think Sol cooked on his last one.
Yeah.
That's what Sol can do because he's actually not been here for the last few episodes, is record a vlog.
I like that.
What's that?
Damn. When's your next day in the life vlog?
Bro, not for any time soon, man.
Yeah.
Not for any time soon.
Hopefully I could do one soon. We'll see.
Yeah,
But,
I did the New York one and stuff like that. I don't need to do another one.
New York,
soon for the off season.
I watched New York the other night with Tops and his family. Oh, bro, take me back. It was so fun. What a trip,
bro. It gets me in the feels when I watch it back. And that was without a doubt the sickest 10 days. If you haven't seen it, we've got a New York vlog. It just gives you an insight to what we got up to. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was so
Connor's family was kind enough to let us in the house, the mansion.
Stop.
Stop, man, stop. But yeah, man, it was awesome. And like he just said there, every time we seem to watch it, it's like, oh, take us back. But
yeah, it was too much fun.
You got better times ahead of us, man.
Yeah. So what are you kind of came up with this one in the last episode.
Yeah,
so what's
there seems to be a lot of just media attention at the minute on footballers' schedules. I've seen a lot of backlash to it. I've seen a lot of managers come out. Ten Hag come out the other day, said it. Rodri, before he got injured, said it. Am I missing anyone else? Loads of people have said it.
So many. Bellingham has said stuff. Yeah. Like it's just so much football that the top level pros have to play now.
That's what I mean. And obviously you see the backlash and people are saying, oh, well, I'd love to see him do this. I'd love to see him do that. And I just thought it'd be a good little topic to cover. And my view to it is, having played football, my view to it is completely different. I don't know if you're the same. We purposely haven't said this to each other either. So
yeah, I'm interested.
He's just found out that I'm all for what the players are saying. Like, I agree with what they're saying.
Yeah.
I think the schedule is too much.
It's crazy.
And I'll break it down for the viewers shortly, but obviously, what's your opinion on it as well?
Yeah, I just think, don't get me wrong, I love watching football. There's games, the season's just started. It feels like there's games every single night. And that's great as a fan. Mm-hmm. But you also want to see the best product on the pitch. And listen, if you watch a team and they're both at 80%, as the viewer, if you're just there for entertainment purposes, you might not fully grasp that. Like, you might just be like, oh, okay, it was an off day for them. But if it's continuing, like, teams are playing at 80%, it's really not what you want to see. You want to see them play even a bit less and just play to the best of their capabilities. I mean, look at what Haaland's done. The season that he's had so far. He didn't play in the Euros this summer, and he's been unbelievable. We're literally witnessing history so far in the Premier League.
That's a good point.
And that is, I think, in part because he's finally refreshed and he's playing against players who aren't as fresh.
But I think he's mentally refreshed.
Yeah, physically and mentally.
Yeah.
And they go hand in hand. They go totally hand in hand. If your mind's in a good place, your body's going to feel a bit better. Then you might trick yourself into thinking your body's feeling good. But if you're in a dark place, you're going to struggle more you're more likely to get injured. There's like, I don't have the stuff in front of me, but I've seen like mental well-being definitely plays a part on injuries as well.
100%.
And if you look how the England boys have done, like on his team, I know he's a bit older, but like Kyle Walker's barely played so far this season. I know Rico Lewis has done really well, but it's taken him time to get up to form. We've seen Rodri, unfortunately, in his first start of the Premier League season, get injured. Yeah. And it's like, I wonder if that injury wouldn't happen if
he played a lot of football
if he didn't play all that football over the summer, genuinely. Yeah. If I'm sure he wouldn't trade winning the Euros with Spain for the world, but if he had 8 games less over the summer, I wonder if that would have happened.
Well, look at Pedri. You remember that year?
80 games in a season.
Was it 80 years?
Yeah, I think it culminated at the 2021 Olympics.
But did you see like there was like
that picture of him with Spain?
Yeah, before the season, obviously his headshot, and then the following season his headshot. He looked like he'd aged 10 years.
Yeah.
Like,
and you look at even Gavi, who's been overplayed. He's just had a year off injured.
Yeah.
And it's like, these guys are, I don't know how old Pedri is now, maybe 21. Gavi was 19 at the time. It's like,
doing a big injury like that.
Yeah. It's a lot to come back from. And it's great. We get entertained by all this football. You also, I love watching Gavi play. Like I love watching him play. He's such a rat. He's so passionate. I honestly forget what it feels like to watch him play football. It's been a year.
But I think the general public, fans, like you said, they just want to be entertained. They want to go to as many games as they possibly can. But they don't have an idea of the actual life of a footballer. I always say, and I've experienced it in my career when I was younger, being mentally fatigued. Like it's not just the games, it's the training, it's the information, it's the pressure of having to be on it every single day. It all accumulates, bro. And if you're playing game after game after game, your body has got no chance to adapt.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's so true.
I remember, and this is the level that we play at. So like we're not even playing in front of 30, 40, 50,000 people. Can you imagine the pressure? We're playing in front of 3, 4, maybe 5, 6,000 people.
I mean, I'm not playing in front of 6,000 too often. I don't know about you.
There's a couple of,
It's happened a few times.
Yeah.
Could you imagine
if that's
every single match? Yeah.
And you're playing for a team, we'll use City and Arsenal, for example, where the pressure, if one team slips up, bang, you're getting punished. This episode's going to take a little while because I want to do it justice, because people are going to be against our point. People are going to be like, nah, well, what do you mean? Like, try working a 9 till, 7 till 5 at Tesco, stuff like that, before you start moaning. I'd do that if it was 250 grand a week, but that's not the point we're getting at.
Of course.
It's the footballer's well-being that we're getting at. It's so taxing and exhausting for footballers, especially at the highest level. Well,
it just shows as well that governing bodies, FIFA and UEFA, they do not care. Do not care.
But this has been a topic for the last... I mean, I've seen Rodri come out and say it now so many times. He sounds like a broken record. Pardon the pun. Like, I'm not even trying to be smart with it. Like, I've seen so many interviews now where Rodri has come out and publicly said the schedule's too much. And now there's even more games.
Well, yeah, so what they've done, right, if you look at FIFA and UEFA, and because they're both culprits of it, right? So the Champions League, they've expanded it. It's gone from 6 group stage games now to 8. and they play past Christmas.
Yeah.
And then if you're in spots 9 through 24, you go into an extra round to go round to 16. So that's if you finish 10th in the Champions League this year in that league table and you end up going to the final, that's an extra 4 games you're playing, right? The Club World Cup is now 4 weeks over the summer, June and July. That's, I think, up to at least 6 games, I'd assume,
really?
If you make the final, right? FIFA have said it takes the place of the Confederations Cup. The Confederations Cup was 8 teams, and it was only a 2-week tournament. This is a 4-week tournament. So if you say Rodri didn't get injured, Rodri's played in the final with Spain. The final was, I think, July 14th, and the Prem probably starts 4 weeks later, so he has to go on holiday, do preseason. Say he gets back for that first week, which he didn't. Then City come 10th in the Champions League. He's playing those extra 4 games, playing the Club World Cup, which ends in July this year. Then he goes to preseason next year, and then Spain make the final of the World Cup. When do they get a break?
Exactly.
When do you get a break?
Exactly.
You're just gonna break down eventually. I think, but it's all about money. FIFA can say, I mean, if you look at FIFA's choices for recent World Cups as well, it's clearly about money, right? They can sit on a high horse and say, we're all about, keeping stuff out of the game. They just want money, bro.
Of course they do.
Money talks.
It's the business.
Yep.
Of course.
It is. And I mean, you see it at all. You even see it at our level. Football is such a business. And maybe the fans don't understand that. They want loyalty. But I mean, you see it at all levels. There's no loyalty. So many clubs aren't loyal. It's very hard to find like a situation where club and player are loyal. Yeah. And the governing bodies and clubs and even a lot of players just treat it as a business. How many players just do it for a job? Exactly. Maybe they fell in love with it as a kid, but I have a few examples that come to mind of not even players that we played with, but just stories I've heard of people just playing it as it's a job.
I know people who have fallen, like you said, like all of us growing up, love football. That's all we ever do. Kick football, played in the streets, blah, blah, blah. But because of what goes on in clubs and in football in general, their love for it starts to deter and they just play it now for the money. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like you look at
it's not why you fall in love with the game.
No, of course not. Yeah. Of course not. And then you look at the Saudi, I mean, the money that's being thrown around in Saudi now, like all the players that are going there is madness. Ivan Toney being one of them.
You see that guy from the Welsh League? I think it was with TNS. And he's just signed over there.
10 grand a week or something, isn't it?
I don't know. I mean,
he won
so it's all reports. You never know how accurate that stuff is.
Yeah, true.
But it's all tax free as well.
Yeah.
What do you think with Ivan Toney? I mean, bro, I think it's just too much money to turn down. But it does. I would have liked to have seen him. I really like the way he plays, and I would have liked to have seen him. I feel like he's kind of just come and gone in the Prem. You got about 2 years of him, and that was it. Yeah. He kind of came onto the scene, did the 9 months for gambling, and then now he's just gone. And I mean, unless he gets called up for England, like realistically, which I don't think he will. I don't think we'll ever really see him play again unless he comes back over.
It's a fine line, bro, because memories in football, like take me back to Ipswich, take me back to Stevenage, take me back to when we won the FAI Cup. That's what you play football for, the memories. You look back at it with a smile on your face. Like I said to you, every time I speak to someone about the FA Cup run or I watch videos of the FA Cup run, I'm like, oh, man, like, just wish I was in that moment again. Yeah. But then we're talking mega amounts of money that is going to change your life, your family's life, your children's life, your grandchildren. I know that comes under family, but I'm just giving you an example.
No, but
in case you go, that's.
I think for Ivan Toney, the money literally will extend to his grandchildren.
That's what I mean, and then
which is insane.
He's played for England in the Euros. He's scored X amount of goals in the Premier League. Like, you have to. It's personal preference. What's your drive? Is it money? Is it memories? What is it? And if it's money, then go and make a career out of trying to earn the most money you possibly can. Do you know what I mean? As long as you're doing the business.
Yeah. You have to think, though, as well, like, okay, so China was kind of the trendy Super League, maybe 10 years ago. And it hasn't really worked out for them. I do think the Saudis are backing it more than China was. But, imagine Vardy after winning the Prem was like, okay, I've accomplished that. And to be fair, he was 29, I think, at the time. You wouldn't think that he would be able to accomplish much more. Say he just left Leicester, just gone to play for Shanghai Shenhua, let's say. Just finished his career over there. He would have had a lot more money, but he still made a ton of money in the past 8 years. He's played in World Cups because Tony didn't go to the World Cup. I doubt he'll go to the 2026 World Cup now because they're like Solanke, for instance, didn't get called up. Like you're gonna call him if he's banging in goals for Spurs, right? Say Vardy had just gone after Leicester won the Prem, we would have been robbed of some really good years from Jamie Vardy. He's done well in the Champions League with Leicester. He's won the FA Cup with Leicester, and he's not made Saudi money, but I'll tell you what, he's made a lot of money, and he's still going strong at 37. Tony is at an age where I think he's on a 4-year deal, so he could come back at 33. He could come back to Brentford for all we know. I mean, or he could leave Saudi early. That's always a possibility, I doubt it.
I've seen quite a few players now that have done the year at Saudi and have bounced back out. Alex Telles has just left. Al Nassr. Jota. Henderson, Well, Henderson bounced out even sooner.
6 months, I think.
But do you know what I mean? I get money talks, man. Like you put yourself in a position where you're offered 300 grand a week. Like, let's be real.
Where do I sign, bro? Where do I sign?
Are you really turning down that money to go and play for 100 grand a week in the Prem? Like, let's be real. It's an extra 200 grand. In fact,
it's so easy to sit on a high horse and say I would do it. I don't, like, as in I would stay in the Prem.
Exactly.
It's so easy, but until you have that money.
Let's be real.
Bro, imagine the end of the month, all that money hidden. Come on.
Let's be real. Everyone is doing it. And if you're not doing it...
I don't think everyone's doing it. Because then...
I'd say... if you did what's it called?
Percentage?
No, like... If you went and interviewed every single player and you...
Oh, yeah.
What was it I'm looking for?
I know, I'm trying to think as well, but the cameras are on.
Yeah, I've killed it. It's funny, when the cameras are on...
Like a census, kind of. Like
Yeah. If you got everyone in the Prem and you sat them down and you gave them the contract, I wonder how...
A survey. That's it.
Damn, so basic. These cameras, they do mad things.
That's actually, my mind was doing front flips trying to come up with the words.
It's weird, isn't it? You see what the cameras
census, and I was like, that's not a
And I agree with you. But anyway, if you did a survey... Oh, gee. If you did a... Subway, I am quite hungry. If you did a survey on every single player in the Premier League and you actually gave them the contract and it was there in front of them, I think a lot... I don't know if there would be many that would turn it down. Like, come on, let's be real. If the top players, maybe your Haalands, your...
Well, he doesn't... How much money can he be on,
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? But I'm saying the players that play for Ipswich, bloody, I don't know, Fulham and these boys here, see you later.
Well, it depends age as well. So say you came in for Amari Hutchinson, who's just signed for Ipswich. He's not... I don't think he takes it. Right? He's like, I'm just starting out in the Prem. I want to break into the England team. Yeah. I'm 21. I'm sure the players at that age back themselves to reach the... I mean, he's just come from Chelsea. He's seen like the top... He was with Arsenal before that. Like, he probably is like, I want to get back to a top 6 club. And then maybe you see.
Who's the young lad from Spain who went to...
I think it was...
Vega.
It was Vega, right?
Vega.
Yeah, from Celta Vigo.
Yes.
Yeah. At 24, he's gone over.
Yeah, but he was like, people were raving about him, saying like he's a top player.
Well, the thing is as well, it's not a bad, like, you're not just stopping playing football. It's a good, think of the players over. I know you can do 8 internationals and then the rest are made up of Saudi players. But I mean, if you look at Ronaldo's team, you have Talisca, you have Ronaldo,
Laporte.
Yeah, exactly. And then look at Neymar's team. You have
Koulibaly.
Yeah, you have Mitrovic. Mitrovic is banging. I think he's like 45 goals in like 40 something games.
He's a goal scorer. Yeah.
So it's again like say you're in the championship and they come. It might actually be like say Ronaldo's say you're playing for I don't know not even chance. Say you're playing for Wigan, right? And Al Nassr comes in for you. That is probably a step up, like for sure. The players that you could learn from. So I think it's more players in the championship. It would be like a wide number in League One and stretch it. I don't know if it would be as widespread as you think.
I think it would.
There's only so many. The thing is, we all think because all these big players have gotten offers that it's like unlimited. There's not that many spots.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
It's only 8 per team.
True.
So yeah.
I just feel like what you're saying to me, if someone who was on 40 grand a week at Fulham, they get an offer for 130 grand a week. There's the first bark.
Oh my God.
130 grand a week. You're saying that he's rejecting it?
It depends on age, family, all that stuff.
True.
Yeah. It really depends. It depends on career aspirations, the individual.
Yeah.
You know, if you're 32, I think most 32-year-olds are taking it. If you're 20, I don't know if you're taking it.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true.
Damn, that chair is squeaking up a storm over there, bro. Bro, just get comfortable. I haven't moved a muscle yet.
It's because you're nervous, man.
I'm not nervous.
You are, bro. You're just staying like this.
Yeah,
you're tensed. You don't want to move.
How is that nervous? I'm calm in my positioning.
We're just trying to flex the Irish top.
Come on, bro. Right.
Come on. You see how the pod's growing in the League of Ireland?
Damien Duff will get you on.
You see how the pod's growing in the League of Ireland? My boy said, let me put on the Irish top.
Yeah, bro.
Try and gain a few followers.
Facts. But yeah. So kind of back to this. What do you think on the topic of money? What do you think about the people that are like, if you look at how much more the players get paid, they do compared to back in the day, they do kind of have to play more games. Mm-hmm. Do you think it's a case of they should keep the games and just have bigger squads where you could rotate so the fans get entertained, the players can still play less? You know, what if they got to the point where it's like, I think the Premier League squad's 28. What if it was 34? Do you think that's better?
100%. I think you have to change that. If you're introducing all these games, you have to increase the amount of numbers that you can have in the squad for sure.
Well, they've increased subs, but I'm saying if you want to keep all these extra competitions, should players what do you think the right answer is? Lowering the amount of games or increasing the numbers of players at each club?
Increasing the amount of players at each club.
So you don't think that the players should be listened to then on like the amount of games? Is that not the issue?
No. I'm saying if they have no choice and they're introducing all these extra games.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? That's when they should increase the amount of numbers you're allowed in a squad to cater for the extra games so you can have more squad rotation. Because if you've only got 28, let's be real, you're a few of them boys are there to make up the numbers. You can expect maybe 23 fit at a time. That's what I'm saying. Pretty generous. But that's what I'm saying to you. So you're expecting injuries, and let's be honest, out of the 28, 5 or 6 are there to make up the numbers.
A few of them are there for like the homegrown rule as well. That you have to come through English academies.
Exactly. So you have to bump up the numbers in order to cater, like I said, for these extra games, because it's too much.
Part of me thinks as well, like, listen, I want to agree with the players like 100%. I think they're totally right. But you have to think of the powers that be, and that is brutal, bro. You have to think of the powers that be that are the Prem. Are you going to listen to the players? Like, if you run the Prem, do you actually care if a certain... Yeah, you don't,
You don't care about the players. You care about the money, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I think they kind of need to work together in a way that they increase the squad sizes so they can keep the entertainment going for fans.
Yeah.
And you could get to a point like Chelsea haven't included Cole Palmer in their Conference League group stage game. Mm-hmm. You can get to a point where you don't, like Erling Haaland doesn't play a Carabao Cup minute until maybe the final. Mm-hmm. And in the early rounds of the FA, but then you do kill the competitions like the FA Cup a bit. Like if Chelsea and City are putting out a second team, like a total second team.
Yeah. It does. It kills the magic of the cup.
Yeah,
of course
like
it does.
you want to see the best players.
Of course you do. And
play
it's
in
also
the
for
historic
an
competitions.
opportunity for the lower teams as well to play against these giants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I find it interesting as well because if you do lower the amount of games, revenue will obviously go down. Or, I mean, that's what you would think would happen, right? And I saw something about how much players used to get back in the day. I think John Barnes, who's a Liverpool legend, his best deal ever was 10 grand a week, right? Which is crazy. Think of how much money he would make now.
Yeah.
And I mean that back then was good money. I'm sure you could invest in, now I'm sure he's reaping the benefits of getting paid a lot of money back then. But like Roy Keane at the turn of like around 2000 was on 50 grand a week. He was the highest paid player in the Prem. Gareth Bale, when he came back on loan to Spurs, was 560 grand a week. I know there's inflation and all sports make more money now compared to back in the day. But would Gareth Bale take 300 grand a week for 10, 15 less games a season? I don't know. Right? I don't know. Again, I'm not an economist. I don't know how it would work, but they are paid very well because of the amount of games that they play. It has to do with TV revenue. It's mostly TV. It's not ticket sales.
Yeah.
So the reason they're paying so much, these companies for football, is because of how many time slots it fills per year.
Do you know how much? Put it this way. I played with a player. I won't say his name. But he told me that he wasn't like a starter or anything. He was a squad player, and he said that he got this Nike deal, and the only reason he got this Nike deal was because of all it might not be on TV, on the main channel in England, for example, but you see all the streams. Like these companies rely on streams as well.
100%.
Because I might go and in fact, no, what am I talking about? I don't watch any streams, but other people might watch streams.
Guilty.
Other people, including myself, might watch streams, and that's where you might see, I don't know, Fabregas wearing the new Nike boots or something. You might not see it on the English channels, but he said that's how he got his Nike deal from obviously because he didn't play much, but on the odd chance, his team didn't play much on the TV, but there's the odd chance where they'd be on dodgy streams and stuff, and that's how they used to get their sponsorships. Was through that.
It's crazy now how Nike has totally changed their tactics of player sponsorship.
I see that.
Once they turn 30, they kind of bin them off. That's why Kane's left. So many big players like Neymar. Yeah. You would have thought Neymar and Nike were
literally
a match made in heaven, right?
Yeah.
He's so trendy. Brazil is I think 250 million people, and they're all obsessed with football. So over there, he's so I don't think we in Europe and the rest fathom how big the Brazilian players are. Him coming over to Barcelona, he was a world star already.
Could you remember when he used to play for Santos?
Oh my! And you would just see the highlights all the time.
There was so much hype coming out of that. Bro.
You would think that was a match made in heaven, and he was with Puma at the age of 30.
What is that?
I think they just figured that they were paying these guys too much, and it was just hurting sales, and they kind of backed themselves to pay younger talent who are going to be the stars of tomorrow, pay them less, wear the boots. Yeah. And to be fair, I will say Nike's decision with Neymar probably looks like the right decision.
Yeah,
right.
True.
But
these boys as well in their primes, when you look back at the best years of their career,
you're going to see that he was in Nike.
Exactly.
Thierry Henry, everyone remembers Nike. He finished in Reebok.
Yeah.
He finished in Reebok boots.
But you come in with a fact there. That's so true.
Bro, I used to be so obsessed with boots.
Yeah, that's so true.
I literally used to be so obsessed with boots. But yeah, when I think of Henry, I think of the Vapor at Arsenal.
Yeah.
But when he went Barcelona, when he was with the New York Red Bulls, he was in Puma when he went to the New York Red Bulls.
That's so true.
So it's they might be onto something for sure. But I think Adidas is totally kind of giving Nike a run for their money. Yeah. With all, I think
there's Adidas and Nike, isn't it? They're the
I like Puma as well, bro. And I'll tell you what, those Skechers boots are nice. Skechers
boots are nice. Yeah, they're comfortable.
You need companies pushing Nike and Adidas because I'm throwing out the English Nike, Adidas, Adidas, but it's one of those where you need companies like being pushed to come up with the best stuff. I think Adidas has listened that people want kind of the retro boots. Like that's why they've gone back to the F50s, the Predators. I mean, I have to get I don't need boots. I need the fold over tongue.
Yes, retro seems to be the fashion at the minute.
100%.
I'm guilty of it. I absolutely love the retro gear at the minute.
Yeah.
So Adidas nice. Speaking, remember when we got that Adidas the Spain top?
It's
in Christmas Day.
So cool.
When he was here.
So cool.
So
that like
cold,
19 like 90
I
Spain
see
top.
Carlos Puyol in there. My boy looking fresh.
Well, they pulled up to one of the games in the Euros wearing that,
yeah, so they did.
And then a tracksuit over it, and it looks so sick.
Yeah. Like that's the big thing at the minute is retro.
Yeah. But just going back to players being overplayed, I do think as well, you might see players harmed. So I saw this is a crazy stat. You think Rooney, right? He could play. He was probably good enough to play in the Premier League 14, right? He was a man child at 16, scored that goal against Arsenal. You know, Bellingham had played 30% more minutes by the age of 20 than Rooney did, which you would never think. But he played for Birmingham from young. Then he's done 3 years in Dortmund and now come to Real Madrid. And Rooney, I mean, Rooney should still be playing, realistically. Like, he was, I think, talent-wise, probably the best British footballer ever. I wouldn't say his career, he's had an unbelievable career, but I think, like, and this is we could talk all day about this. This could be another pod of who's the best British footballer ever. But he's not like a shoo-in for it. But I would say he's the most talented. And he was done at the top level at 32. And, you know, Varane's retired at 31. Like, and with the advances in sports medicine and sports science and all, right? Like, you want these players. I think Mbappe had played 45% more minutes than Henry at the same age.
Do you reckon we'll start seeing earlier retirements?
I do think, like, advances in sports medicine, I think when players get major injuries, they come back the same or very close to the same. Like, even Van Dijk, there are people that are like, oh, he hasn't been the same since the ACL injury. I don't see much difference. I still think maybe he's not as good as he was, but that does happen as well. Like, that might have just been his peak. Yeah. And then it looks like he hasn't missed a beat to me. I do think that you will see longer careers, but maybe the quality won't be as good. Like, who knows if you took Mbappe back 20 years, would his speed stay for longer than it could stay in this day? And there's no way to know. But you don't want to overplay these young guys as well.
Yeah, man. You see what I feel like there'll be either early retirements or players won't be able to play at the level that they've played at previous years. So, for example, in order to be at the top, you got to be consistent. You got to bring it every day, every session. I think as years start to go on, 6, 7, 8 years, I think the level will start to drop off. That's what I personally think. Because I think, and I've said it's so mentally draining, bro, where you cannot take a day off in this game. In football, in any sport in general. If you want to be the best, you got to be obsessed with it. And you got to bring it every single day. And football's a career where it's like it goes on for a while. Yeah. And do you know what I mean? The more games, I used to in meetings, for example, you see when you got taking new information. You see when we had that stint where we played, I think it was Saturday, Monday, Wednesday.
That was crazy.
It was crazy because you had to take in new informations on teams. You had to new styles of play, and
you're recovering and
exactly.
Prepping at the
and
same time.
People are probably going to listen to this and say, "Well, yeah, it's part of your job," but you're also, I don't know how to. Pressure. Huh?
Yeah, people just don't understand the aches and pains. Like,
you have to be in it to know. The
people
pressure,
don't understand that, like, and it's the same way at the highest level.
Yeah.
When you get out of bed and you're struggling to get down the stairs in the morning and you have to go play a 90-minute game,
but bro,
that is insane.
It's the pressure of you. We had to win every game in order to make the highest playoff place we could finish.
Yeah.
We had to win every single game. What happens if you have a bad result in there? You're like, you're upset, you're mentally, your emotions, you're stressing all. Do you know what I mean? There's so many things in football. And like I say to you, that's at the level we play at. Could you imagine what it's like in front of millions at a time every single weekend, every single game?
Yeah.
It must be mentally draining. And then to go onto a pitch, have aches and pains, and to match that ability again. If you're not at that ability, you're being laughed at on Twitter. Do you know what I mean? There's so many things to it. Like I just like you have to, like I said, you have to.
Well, hopefully one of the three of us on this pod can play at a level high enough where we're like, yeah, it is the same at that level, you know? As to what we were saying a few years back.
I understand it. From playing in football, I understand what these top players are saying. But I don't know how to word it in a way where I'm jumping people on board with my opinion. Like, people are listening to me going, you know what, Sam? Actually, you're right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think one thing that we will start to see is, you see how Ronaldo, after that 2014 World Cup, or heading into that 2014 World Cup, he has gone back and said he wishes he didn't play in it. His knee was all over the place.
Exactly. Yeah.
He totally changed his game. He's unrecognizable. Even, we won't even say now because he's 39. Mm-hmm. But even, let's say, when they did the three-peat of the Champions Leagues, from then to, say, Euro 2008 with Portugal, he's unrecognizable. It's a different player. One is like a super flashy, rapid winger.
Yeah.
The other one is still a freak, like, fitness-wise, but he's not as quick. He's maybe better at jumping and stuff. And he's just an out-and-out goal scorer.
Yeah.
So I think you will see the best players will just have to adapt their game.
Yeah.
For the players now that are overplayed and their game is sprinting like Mbappe, I bet at 33, you won't see him flicking it by people on the left wing.
Yeah.
He'll
be a poacher.
Play more
He'll know
through
where
the middle.
to be.
Yeah, because
his movements will be different.
Those top guys, they're going to find a way regardless.
Yeah.
I know his speed is a joke. And there aren't many players that have it, but there are players that are as quick as him that aren't nearly as good as him, right? So they're just not one-trick ponies that rely on one aspect of their game.
True.
So, yeah, I think you will see the best players start to adapt or retire earlier.
Yeah.
And it just will depend on... There's a lot of like outside factors as well, you know, the type of clubs that they're at. I feel like the players that go to Italy, for instance, they just add years onto their career. Yeah. Like I saw Patrice Evra talking about when he went to Juve, like the running they had him doing was crazy, but he said it added another 2 or 3 years onto his career. Really? So it just depends on like the methodology of each place. I mean, look at Italy in the Euros with Chiellini and Bonucci. In the Prem, they probably would have been finished at that age. Yeah. Right? Like,
it's true, yeah. It goes on different styles of play, the tempo, what the game, at which the game's played at and stuff, 100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, look at John Terry. I love John Terry, right? He's like my favorite ever defender. He was at Villa at like 35. I think Chiellini was 36, 37, beating England in the final.
That's true.
So... there is something to be said on styles of play as well, and the type of country you play in.
Yeah, 100%.
Terry, I know he's so loyal. I know he did obviously leave to go to Villa, but he was so loyal to stay at Chelsea. Maybe for his career, he should have gone played for AC Milan for a few years.
Yeah, true.
You know, could have played,
added an extra couple of years in his career. 100%.
Yeah, so it just depends the country you're at, the style of play. So, yeah, I hope it's not something that we have to think too far of in the future. I hope that the players and the governing bodies can come together and strike some sort of deal, because I don't think it's sustainable at the minute.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. Especially in the Premier League, no way.
It's just not sustainable.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. And you'll see more and more people, like you said, break down with injuries, and touch wood. You never want to see a player injured, but when you're playing that many games. You know, you look at the top teams, like it's Saturday, Tuesday. It's every Saturday, Tuesday.
And you know what? I think another thing that people in England don't think of, because you just think of your top, like, English players and stuff.
Why are you laughing at my boy? That's crazy.
You just think of your top English players and, okay, yeah, they'll go to St. George's Park for the week. They'll play one game at Wembley, then they'll go to Athens. if you think of Sadio Mane and Salah when they were on Liverpool, they're going as deep as they can in every competition. Then they're jetting off to Egypt, to Senegal.
You're
and
traveling. The
and then
travel
they're
takes
playing,
its toll.
And then, so say you're Salah, you're going to East Africa, like Northeast Africa, you're playing for Egypt. Then you're going all the way to South Africa. Then you're playing Burnley up at Turf Moor. Where's
your
that
time
is so much travel.
Where's your time to decompress?
You don't have it.
You can't escape football.
Yeah.
You're just constantly, and again, it goes back, you have to be obsessed to be at the very top.
Yeah.
But there comes a point where you want to be, family time is precious, and it helps you zone out from football. It helps you come back with a different mindset.
And that's why you see players retire from international duty as well.
Yeah, so they can spend more time with their families, so they've got time to...
And that's the biggest honor, in my opinion, that you can have
100%.
as a footballer.
100%.
Everyone dreams of playing for their country in the World
100%.
Cup. And think of how many top pros are like, I have to. I have to stop playing. It's crazy. I mean, you've seen so many retire.
Tony Cruz retired and then come back from international, and then come back to play international football.
Paul Scholes retired, I think, for the second time in maybe 2013. He retired after Euro 2004.
Yeah.
Like he didn't even go to the 2006 World Cup.
Yeah.
And it's just so much football. But yeah, I think the recommended, I think FIFA Pro, I think that's like the PFA of FIFA, recommend 55 games, I want to say, in a calendar year. Right. And that includes internationals. And so you could have Tuesday, Saturdays, that's fine. But you just have to, you can't have too many of those, and you have to have a certain amount of break. I think players are playing low to high 70s now. That's an extra 20 games. Like, that is so much football.
Yeah.
That's half a Premier League season over the limit.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So something's going to have to change.
100%.
Yeah.
There we go, man.
I think good place to leave off, man.
You come with facts to them, I must say.
Hey, it's crazy.
I doubted you.
What? Yeah, well, you have to start you're trying to challenge me. You're making me learn this stuff on the fly. But listen, I have no useful information in this brain. But hey, if you want to know what boots Henry wore in the 1998 World Cup final, I got you, bro.
If I'm going to be honest, when we talk about football knowledge, my boy cooks.
Yeah, it's
my boy knows his ball. But that's just like from you growing up, your football absolute mad. Even now.
Oh, bro, I love it so much.
You'll be watching games and you'll be putting in the chat, oh, did you see this? Did you see that? Yeah, of course we have Twitter and also you see the clips, but you'll be watching the actual games and everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got the subscription.
Yeah.
For every single, as soon as you have the subscription for every single game in the world, you do, my boy. That's crazy.
Whether it's dodgy or not dodgy. But no, I remember even like it goes back to school. I used to sit in the back of the classroom and be taking notes. And then, because like if I had an iPad or something, just be like, yeah, I'm going to use it for notes. Yeah. About 15 minutes into like the lecture, I'd just be looking at what boots are coming out, like old football game. I remember there was a trend, like when there was no football during COVID, people were rewatching old games like on YouTube. And I was like, I've already watched so many of these.
Man, I used to sit at the back of the class and practice my signature. I swear to God.
Really?
Yeah, I swear to God, I used to practice my signature. I used to be like, and people probably know. People probably did the same. You probably.
I used to do it as well.
Yeah, man.
Mine's terrible.
The viewers will know, man. I used to sit at the back and I used to visualize and be like, yeah, and one day I want to use this.
I was more practicing my mom's signature for the tests I'd have to bring home and,
that's
and
right.
sign.
That's right.
Do you ever get caught doing that?
What's that, like?
A bad signature.
No.
I think I remember getting caught.
No.
You're not getting caught.
No.
I think I did one and I was like, this is terrible. So I had to give it to my mom and said I was just messing around.
I've done that. I remember because we used to get letters if you were playing for the school. They had your mum and dad had to sign something to say that you were allowed to play. I remember if you didn't have the no, you wasn't allowed. So there's a couple of times where I had to like put because me and my dad's signature is it's like the same. I copied it off my dad, and I tried to fraud his signature once, and like to get me to play, and yeah, it worked.
I used to.
No one ever like called me up on it and be like, "Yo, this isn't your mum and dad's." Sorry, it worked. The practicing the signatures worked.
Yeah, exactly.
It must have worked.
I remember one time. So in the I guess it's secondary school, the school that you are at, like 8 to 14.
Yeah.
They were quite strict, and you had to, whether you got 100 or a 60 on the test, you had to bring it home and get it signed.
Mm-hmm.
So your parents knew how you were doing. That this way, when the reports came out, it wasn't a shock to them. And I remember like I was struggling in Latin. Like Latin was too hard for me, and I remember like wanting to forge so many of them. And then just thinking of like the repercussions if I got caught, and I used to get in trouble.
Jeannie would not be happy, man.
Oh, she would not be happy. So there was one time, I went to copy her signature, and I realized I've butchered it. So it's on the paper in pen.
No.
And I think I've just gone back and like I've either told her and she's been like, don't do it again, or I've just covered it and had her sign it properly and then just scribbled out the other one.
God.
But I remember panicking.
I was gonna say.
I remember just like in my room, it's probably 11:30 after football training, and just sitting there and just staring like that.
It's funny how as a kid we think of the worst, like
It was like the worst thing that had happened to me at that point.
honestly, you'd be sat there going, oh my God, am I going to be done for fraud or something? Or,
Yeah.
what's going to happen? Like, oh, my parents going to shout at me or something. It's not that deep, is it?
Too funny, man.
It's not that deep.
I remember just I remember being like 12 years old, and just the school was so hard, like that I went to, and I was struggling. Doing, obviously football was more important. I remember coming back from like a training one night, and I just said to the teacher, I was like, listen, I didn't have a chance to do the project. And she's like, you might have to quit football. And I was like, yeah, okay, no chance. But I remember sitting there, and I just used to go down like a rabbit hole of like people who dropped out of school and were like really successful. I was like, well, if Jay-Z's a billionaire, I don't need to do this. Like, what's the point? And then as you get older, you're like, okay, yeah, I probably do need to do this.
I think I said it to you before. I was so naughty. I remember I used to sit there in maths class, man. I used to sit there and I used to hide at the back. Me and my boy used to play New Star Soccer. The viewers will know. New Star Soccer was the game, man. You used to be able to like play, and then you get better contracts, and then you can buy like your house, or you could go to like the casino and put $5 on roulette, and you do the horse racing. But I used to play that. I used to play that so many times. I used to love it. Every maths class, I used to look forward to it. Do you know what I got then? Come the end of my school years,
A D.
I got an F.
An F.
Yeah. So just a little warning if there's any kids here.
Stay in school, kids.
Yeah. Do not go and play New Star Soccer in maths class, because you don't get very far. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Well, hey, that's been a good pod. We've talked about all the fixture congestion, and then we've done our part, for the future of
like I said, I hope
world.
like I said, I don't know how to put it into words where people are like, yeah, I agree with you, but just giving my perspective, having played football, I mean, it's like I said, it's not at the level that these superstars are playing at, but it is. It takes its toll, and the games and the pressure and all that sort of stuff. It's hard. It's hard to maintain a level, but like I said, that's where that separates the very good from the good and stuff, and what level you play is because you're consistent with it. But yeah,
100%.
man. Yeah, that's episode 26 done.
It's crazy.
Wow.
And we're about to film episode 27 in a few minutes.
I cannot wait. We're on break now. A little coffee break, and then we'll be back. Have
Hey,
you got to change the top?
I do have one final one. So
Do you?
yeah,
I'm gonna ask you which one but it's gonna.
it's not like one of my favorites. I honestly brought it because I'm like, I don't really care what happens.
I say no more. I'm just gonna stay in this drippy jumper anyway.
But yeah, go make me a coffee, and then we'll come back.
Don't disrespect. You're not in charge.
I was hoping I could get one of those in.
You're not in charge, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, listen, if you've enjoyed it, probably gonna get a little bit of backlash on this. It could be our first pod where people are like, no, I don't agree.
Yeah, which is fair enough. Hey,
But do you know what I mean?
I go into every conversation with an open mind,
You're not gonna please everyone. But like I said, if you've enjoyed it, not enjoyed it, you can actually hit a dislike button. Do not hit the dislike button.
Even if you really disliked our opinions.
Hit the like button, subscribe, share it, all that good stuff. Follow us on the socials. And we'll catch you in the next episode. The door's just gone. Peace.
Peace.